Hey everybody, Hefe here. Today we ask the age-old question, what is an ale? When it comes down to the main root of what a beer is or where it came from, ales are the origin. Lagers came into the picture much later into the beer's history, but ales have been where it's at since the very beginning. Obviously, a lot of things have changed in the ale world since its first incarnation, but the origin of ale has always been the same. It's always been a part of life. Ale was a main source of calories in a person's life, even as far back as the medieval times. The three main sources of calories were bread, beer, and pottage. Pottage is like a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a pottage. 65 to 80% of a person's diet came from ale. Everybody drank ale, from children to workers to the nobles that ruled the area. And of course, back then, it was safer to drink than water was, as the liquid had been boiled and then stored for safekeeping. This goes back to things like the Black Plague, when it was easier to get people to drink the distilled water, or beer, as opposed to the fresh water that was around them, thinking that it was making everyone sick. Back in the medieval times, brewing was actually pursued by women. Before that, it was even started by women. Essentially, it was cooking. The women back then were known as alewives, or if they were widows of a fallen soldier, it was really the best source of income that a single woman could make. But back then, beers were made a little differently. The agent used to bitter the beer was actually known as a gruit, or a mix of spices and herbs. It wasn't until the year 1000 AD that the modern ale was introduced, using hops. Now, what is it that actually makes an ale an ale? The brewing process is actually involved that the beers ferment at a higher temperature, between 68 to 72 degrees. 75 degrees for other beers. Certain styles like Saison take a little bit of more heat. But not only do the hops act as a bittering agent, but they also act as a preservative. Then it also comes down to the yeast strand. The common yeast strand found in most ales, especially those prior to the use of hops, was a natural yeast. The yeast determines how it is affected in the boil stage. In ales, it is top fermented and it rises to the top. See a big, bubbly, foamy top layer on top of the liquid. This yeast provides a higher ABV and a little bit more robust flavor than you would see in a lager. It comes out a little thicker in body and cloudy in appearance. Keep in mind, most ales do not age very well. We can argue that some are okay to age, but the fresher an ale is, the better off you are drinking it. All in all, an ale is the original style of beer. It was easy to make, it didn't take that much time, and just about anyone could do it. That's enough about the history of an ale. Now let's tell you more about the beers themselves. I'm going to be listing off different styles of ales, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'll even throw in an example so that you can find it yourself. Cream ale. Light in body, pale straw with a low medium bitterness, low mild malty. You can find Sun King Sunlight, which is an Indianapolis brewery. Amber ale, medium to full in body, copper, light brown in color, caramel flavor and body. Colorado's got a fantastic one out of Breckenridge called Avalanche. Pale ale, light medium body, golden light colored, light copper, higher bitterness and aroma, but not too high. Brickstone out of Bourbonade has a fantastic beer called their APA, or American Pale Ale. IPA. Medium in body, gold to copper in color, intense hop flavor, and for those who love hops. Bell's Two Hearted has been one of the top rated beers in the country for a couple of years now. West Coast IPA, light to medium body, crisp, clean, golden copper in color, with flavor profile of piney, hoppy, and dry. This style of IPA originated in this country, and Green Flash in California has a wonderful West Coast IPA. New England IPA. This one's a little bit newer, but man, has it really taken the scene by storm. It's got a full body, hazy, creamy, cloudy, orange, golden color, fruity, hoppy, almost no bitter. I would argue that it's almost not an IPA. Old Irving Brewing in Chicago won the gold medal for their beer Beezer. Phenomenal. Black IPA. Medium to full in body, dark brown to black in color, roasty, malty, and hoppy. This is what people are looking for when they want a stout and an IPA to have a baby. Uinta has a great beer called Doobie that's actually kind of high in alcohol, but it's got a great roast malty flavor to it, plus that hoppiness in there. Milkshake IPA. Silky full body. Creamy, hazy, tropical sugar sweet taste to it. Almost all of them have lactose, which just makes it even sweeter and thicker. These IPAs have been popping up everywhere. Hop Butcher for the World here in the Chicago area has one called Blazed Orange, tastes like a dreamsicle. Imperial or double IPA. Medium to full in body. Gold copper color, a little hazy sometimes. Bolder hop flavor and more ABV, like a lot. But if you're looking for a good, solid Imperial IPA, 6 Point has a good beer called Resin. Strong ale. Medium to full body, light amber to a brown color, malty sweet with a minimal hop bitterness. Definitely boozy. If you're looking for a good strong ale, probably one of the easiest ones to find will be the Stone Arrogant Bastard. Wheat beers. Medium to strong golden color. These are the beers for people who enjoy a little bit of fruitiness, but no bitter at all, but without it being an actual fruit beer. That being said, Lost Coast Tangerine Wheat is a go-to. If it's on tap, you'll be happy. There's two subcategories of wheat beers that we'll get into some other time. German and Belgian style. A Weihenstephaner Hefeweizen is a fantastic example of a good German Hefeweizen, whereas in a Belgian style, the Witterkirk is a really good Witbier. Brown ale. Medium in body, deep copper brown color, gets its name. Roasty malt with a chocolatey, sometimes nutty flavor. Big Sky in Montana has a beer called Moose Drool. That thing is Scottish ale. Full dark amber to a brown color, overwhelming amount of malt. Low in the hops with some toffee caramel notes to it. Then there's the Wee Heavy. Wee Heavy is a slightly higher ABV version of that with an even bolder and boozy flavor to it. Belhaven Scottish Ale is a classic representation. Its Wee Heavy counterpart is also just as good. Porter. Medium to full in body. Dark brown to black in color. Roasted malt. Full flavor of like coffee and chocolate. These are beers that are brewed with malts that are already pre-roasted. Duclaw made Sweet Baby Jesus. It's a porter, but made with peanut butter. Really not bad. More of a soft, nutty flavor to it. Stout. Medium to full in body. Dark brown to black. Roasty, chocolate, coffee, burnt flavor. These are made with those pale malts that were roasted and then roasted again. Great Lakes Blackout Stout. Solid, thick, black, smooth stout. Imperial Stout. Full, dark body. Black in color. Extreme malt. Bold, boozy flavor. Little higher ABV. These beers were historically used as a peace treaty with Russia. Kept them warm in the winter. Great Divide in Colorado has a beer called Yeti, and all the variations of it, you need to try it. Barley wine. Medium to full in body, copper to a brown in color, not really hazy at all. Extreme malt, fruity esters, and boozy on the nose and the tongue. There's almost no hop flavor. It's almost like drinking a hard alcohol. Revolution Straight Jacket. Belgian style. This category can get really, really deep. There are so many sub-styles within a Belgian, that's gonna have to be saved for another video. But overall, they carry the same qualities. Sweet, fruity, carbonated, spicy, and hazy. Now, not all of them are gonna touch all the bases, but pretty much overall, they are going to have those characteristics. It's the yeast that they use from that area that makes those beers so specific. It also happens to be my favorite styles of beer. Now I just throw a whole bunch of beers at you. The best thing that you can do is go out and try them for yourself. Keep in mind this was just a generalization of a bunch of styles. I may not have hit every single one, and if there's a style I missed, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe so you can see all the future videos coming out. Until next time, this beer's for me.